The number one selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by Opill, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opill is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. Opill is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with Opill. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of Opill at Opill.com.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe it. Today is the day that we go live. The MisFitnation was established in 2010 on the battlefield in Kandahar, Afghanistan, and this day has finally arrived on air. Welcome to the MisFitnation. In this episode, our very first episode, we will attempt to introduce you to what made us the Misfits back then. We'll also show you how we have all grown since then. I arrived in Kandahar at Bob Wilson not knowing 90% of who I'd be working with. The air was arid with smoke and tension. The unit had been in the fight for a few months by the time I arrived. My first full day in the FOB, a known recoilless rifle attack happened at precisely the time intelligence reported it to happen. One of the rounds hit a sleeping tent and started a fire. This is when I was first introduced to most of the platoon, which would become later known as the Misfits. They arrived from multiple directions. A truck with a water buffalo to be used as a firefighting mechanism. The first event was a success, and I was impressed with their efforts. I truly did not have a job yet. My original platoon was divided into many locations. There was some at the headquarters, some with the brigade personal security detachment, and some with the battalion PSD. The day after this attack, I was introduced to the young leaders of the Quick Reaction Force and the Force Protection Platoon. Two sergeants stood out. They were covered in dirt. They looked like Pigpen from the Peanuts. Both of them were very respectful and described to me what they were doing. I just met two NCOs who would be very instrumental in the forming of the platoon moving forward. They were Sergeants Christopher Wamoff and Michael Beckham. Wamoff became part of the heart and soul of the platoon. He was in second squad. At this time, he was the second squad leader. He later became the first team leader of second squad as a senior person came in. He was and is a very hard-working young man who was tactically and technically proficient. That being said, he wound up being point man on nearly every patrol over the next 6 months. Beckerman was an engineer by specialty. He was a spirited young man. He had a strong mind and wanted things done his way. He could make light of any bad situation. On one occasion, we were searching a compound and had to sit with elders. They invited us in for chai, and they decided to sing us a traditional Afghan song for us. Then they asked us to reciprocate. He did not hesitate. He stood up and started singing, "I love you, you love me," like the song from the Barney Show. I think we all had trouble composing ourselves as he sang, and the Afghan people stood up with him playing their instruments. That's just the kind of guy he was. The platoon was full of characters, and we always seemed to have a new face coming in. In early December, just after a rocket attack on the FOB, young Specialist Raymond Berg came in. He came from the maintenance platoon like more than half of second squad. He was eager to get to work and learn his new duties. He enjoyed getting up early and going running in the dark around the fog. Enjoyed may be a stretch, but he toughed it out. He too became a vital part of the interconnected bunch of misfits. We had cooks, seaburn specialists, all types of mechanics, engineers, a rotation of dog handlers, a squad of MPs, and a human. Our human specialist was a loss for his unit, as they did not truly know what they gave us. He also was and is a valued member of the Misfits. As you know, there are many days in our lives that stick in your head, like push pins on a map. They could be the day you met your significant other, the day you got married, the birth of your children, and other happy events. There are also a number of bad things that stick with you forever. One of those days is December 31st, 2010. The platoon was up and out the door, on patrol before the sun. We returned as usual, cleaned weapons, sent people to the front gate, secure it, and went about maintenance of fob towers and such. It was like 8:30, and I got called to meet the first sergeant on the other side of the fob. I raced over, jumped off the Polaris, and went up to him. He solemnly informed me that we lost Beckerman. I blanked out for a bit and tried to figure out how to tell the platoon what was taken from us. To say it was a rough time would be putting it mildly. December 31st, 2010 is an ingrained part of the Misfits history. Rest easy, Sapper. So after that, we all rotated back to the world in April of 2011, just weeks before Osama bin Laden was given a proper send-off. As we went back, the band of Misfits went to the Four Winds. The soldiers all went back to the platoons where they were assigned to, and I went back to my actual platoon. Sure, we would stick around the base for a bit in the same parent unit, but as we all knew, life changes, and this was inevitable. We were all going to disappear from each other. My first interview this week will be with Raymond Bird. He hails from Cleveland Rocks, Ohio, USA. He's a talented producer, communicator, veteran, and most of all, a great father and friend. And proud to call him brother and misfit. Without further delay, let's give it up for the misfit, Bird.
What's going on?
How you doing, Misfit? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. How
you doing?
Pretty good. Just getting in from a Home Depot run, and I figured I'll start on a DIY project this weekend.
That's what I'm talking stuff. I like it.
Oh yeah, gotta stay busy, man.
That's all I do too. Every day I try to figure out more stuff to do to keep my head straight.
Yep.
I know you're deep in your studies in Charlotte right now. How's that going?
Yeah. I'm about a week and a half in, but like you said, they waste no time. I'm deep in study right now, so it's going pretty smooth so far. I am ahead, but a little bit about it I feel like, man, I might be a little behind. So I'm always checking, making sure I'm not missing dates and yep. So I'm staying on top of it, but going pretty smooth so far. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Only got another full semester to go in the summer semester, and I'm done.
Amen. That's what it's all about.
Yep. Yeah, man.
You're definitely setting a great example for your two daughters. Daredevil Bree.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
She hasn't fallen off a skateboard yet, has she?
Plenty.
Nice.
Yeah, she loved that thing, man. I'm starting to think I need to pull out her knee pads and elbow pads just for the house.
Definitely. Before you get some damages in the house and to her.
Yeah, right.
I got some splaining to do after that.
Oh, man.
And Mama Gwen will be mad at me.
Oh, you already know that's what happened.
Oh, yeah. I'll be in trouble somehow, even though I wasn't there.
Right. Man, so what's going on with you, man?
I flew out. I flew out to Utah today so I can train some soldiers on some emerging threats out here. It's
nice.
pretty cold out here compared to Tennessee, of course.
Oh yeah.
It's all good.
Yo, man, are they on mountain time over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mountain time and mountain weather.
Oh yeah, I'm right in the mountain.
Yeah.
I can see Mr. Brigham Young right down the block.
Man, be sure to get some of that mountain baking too. They bake pretty good up there in the high altitude.
Oh man, I just got some peach cobbler, so I have to check it out.
Holy.
That's supposed to be my lunch.
There you go.
Starting off early.
Right, already. Just got there.
All right, so it's been about 10 years since we met each other. A little over 10 years, actually.
Yeah, a little over 10. 10, yep.
December 2010, you came over to the Misfit Tune. Now, I just want you to come out and you tell the world about you. Where'd you come from? How you fell into this band of Misfits, what it means to you, and where you see us as a band of Misfits in the next 5 years.
Man. Okay, so that's a 3-part question. I'll probably need you to remind me of the different parts. But yeah, man, I came over, I think it was right after I got hit with a mortar round around that time, like right before I got there.
It was like a week before.
Yeah, and after they did the triage and everything, and I snapped back to reality, I had got the announcement, hey, they need some more help over there, and that's pretty much what it was. They need some more help over there, and it was no questions asked. I didn't know who they was, and I didn't know where there was. And I got there, and it was welcoming, because when I got there, it was like, oh man, we'll help you move. And so we went from tent to tent, back and forth. It was about a little short of a half a mile walk. And as we was walking, they was like, man, we the Misfits. And I'm like, the Misfits. And they was like, and they grinned and said it. Yeah, the Misfits, man. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. I'm just thinking they just gave a cool name to it. And that was that. But by the end of the deployment, it finally clicked. I finally figured out, man, now I see why we are called the Misfits. And, just as the word implies, man, like, when you think of Misfits, you think of like outsiders, outcasted, members. And, but really, man, we had, the camaraderie, the sense of family, man, you didn't feel like you was outcasted or an outsider at all. You know what I mean? And I kind of think about this, though. I was talking to somebody earlier this week, and I'm like, when you think about Misfits, I think about the Island of the Misfit Toys on the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the claymation.
Yes.
And man, you had toys that, you had a kite that was scared of heights. You had a boomerang that couldn't come back. You had a Jack-in-the-Box, but his name was Charlie. So he kind of had a, psychological, like situation going on. Like, oh man, my name is not correct, so I'm nobody, and we had a lot of members like this that was part of the Misfits, like we all had something, but all was looking for purpose. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you, but man, like you gave us that sense of purpose. That's really all we wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a bird, part of the Island of the Misfit Toys, and he couldn't fly. And I remember when I first got there with you, I was like, man, I need to lose a little bit of weight, get in shape, but I have an ankle injury. I don't know if you remember, but I never forget telling people this story. I'm like, man, I had a sergeant there, man, and he was the very first sergeant I've had multiple sergeants, but he was the only one who said, get up, meet me outside at 4 a.m. First thing tomorrow morning. And I was like, what? Like, I couldn't say no to it because I'm like, well, this is what I have been asking for, somebody, a real leader. And I get it. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, 4 a.m. So I get up and, and I was there, but I'm like, the whole time I'm like, God, why we got to meet this early? And after, days, weeks, and then months passed, and I went from, I don't know if you remember, I kept rolling my ankle and falling every day.
I remember. Casualty bird.
Yeah. Man, I was that misfit toy. I was that bird that couldn't fly. You know what I mean? And it was amazing to see at that moment, all I really trusted in was each day. Once I was like, okay, I got up today. It's 4 a.m. I got up. I'm going to trust him today. And little by little, you wasn't judging me. You was like, it's all right. Your ankle going to get strong. You're going to get strength in your ankle. You're going to get, you're going to get confidence in your ankle. And sure enough, man, I was, running those 3 miles. We did 3 miles every morning.
That's right. Every morning.
Yep. And I remember running those 3 miles and being able to have a conversation with you by the end of the deployment during the run.
That's right.
And you would say, it's all right. Like, you would have long-winded conversations on your end, like, and then you have a whole story about, prior deployments and your experiences. And then you'll ask me a question and I'm like, yeah, no, yeah.
Please stop.
Man, I was like, I'm just thinking back like, wow, at the end of it, I'm just like we having a full-fledged conversation, by the end of the deployment. I was running on my ankle. It actually had healed better than had it healed if I would have stayed off of it, which was my first choice. Because, you always choose comfort, no matter what it is in life, you choose what's most comfortable.
That's right. Comfort over task.
Exactly. Yeah. And that gave me a sense of discipline, because it takes discipline not to choose the easiest route. And man, but that started to give me purpose. It started to show me the purpose of the Band of the Misfits. And even though, you had, trains that had square wheels, even though it had square wheels, it was more so of a mental thing. We all came with like, mental blocks. We was our own limitations. And you gave us that purpose, man. And that to me that means more to me. And I carry a lot of those lessons I've learned. 10 years, this has been over 10 years since we met. Yeah. And I still carry those same lessons to this day, even as I parent.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm glad I was there at that time in your life to give you that sense of purpose and help all the brothers, all the misfits, all your brothers and sisters in the platoon, man, to make it through some real hard times. It was a real tough deployment.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We that band of misfits stayed together, and most of us still kind of talk now.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. That's true to this day. One of my best friends, I had it just, I don't know how this happened. I didn't, I actually thought it would never come to this, but one of my closest friends was actually Townsend. And, yeah. And he was like the yin to my yang, like I was really serious, more mature. And he was like really playful, found everything as a joke, but he was kind of like that balance to, a lot of the hardship there. It was a tough deployment, we needed that Charlie in the box.
And that was him right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
First room on the left.
Right. Yep. And man, I started to see, I remember Robley and Varola, we all like, it was just, I remember it was things that we didn't share with, our with the sergeants, it was just things that we kind of had going on amongst the lower enlisted. And, man, it was just, yeah, man, like I struggle today, that wondering, man, well, I don't think I'll ever find a closer family outside of family than the band of Misfits.
And that's something I always aimed to do whenever I had a section, a squad, a platoon, the team when I went back to Afghanistan a year later. Friends come and go. People come and go in a lot of time. It's family that sticks around forever. And that's what I know it's cliche. I know it's said in Fast and Furious by Vin Diesel all the time. But
right.
It's exactly right. That's the one true thing out of that whole movie series. Family stays forever. And exactly. It's thicker than water. So that's what you got to keep around.
Exactly. And I mean, a lot of people think only family can be family.
Right.
That's far from the truth. I like you said, I still to this day, we have Zoom meetings with some of the members that, to this day, every once in a while. And I think this pandemic may have made us, speak a little bit more than normal.
Yeah, it might have brought some of us closer together.
Yeah.
In a strange way. I mean, you got to look at the silver lining in all this craziness over the last 13 months now.
Yeah.
Since all this started and everything that happened in between, besides the pandemic, we had all kinds of other stuff that happened in our country. But it's the true strength of man as mankind to look at each other in the eye and say, look, we got to fix this. And that's what I think this nation is really about, is trying to fix this and keep the progress going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was asking you. Where do you see us as a Misfit Nation in 5 years?
Oh man, it all goes back to the fact that friends come and go, but it is nothing like family, and that family bond to be even tighter in 5 years. That what you taught us, that, like you said, you went back to that the deployment after our deployment, and you even instilled that in the team you was with everywhere you go. And that's where I see us as, all of us as a family of misfits, no matter where we go, because this is a huge struggle for veterans. They're always comparing, man, I'll never find camaraderie or connection like I did when I was in the Army or when I was in the military.
Or that sense of purpose.
Say again?
Or their sense of purpose that they had when they were in the military.
Exactly. And that's the two main struggles, is finding that camaraderie and connection and that sense of purpose. And in 5 years, I see us going, and it's kind of like discipleship. And really, discipleship comes from the root word discipline. You know what I'm saying? And no matter where we go, we will instill that discipline of family. No matter where we go. 5 years, I see this family growing like never before. And especially since we're in the pandemic, it allows us to be a little bit more innovative in how we connect and how we how we connect as a civilization. Now we can do everything pretty much virtually.
That's right.
And so I just see in 5 years, we implementing this new, I guess this new way of life, implementing that and growing our family, so that way we don't have to look for that purpose and look for that, because that is our purpose. That is our connection.
Right. This whole new normal we're in now. I mean, a lot of people are struggling with this. A lot of people are technologically, handicapped. But if they're coming along and they're able to adapt and if you adapt and overcome, everything's going to be okay. It's just like it was.
That's a fact, Misfit. That's a fact.
So here's another tough question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had the chance to do things over, would you change anything in your path?
Nothing. Not at all. That is without a doubt. I would change nothing. And I look back and really, and I have thought about this very, on a extensive level. I have gone through some tough shit, man. I don't know if we can cuss on here, but man,
you already did.
I know. I've gone through some tough stuff though. And things that I never would have saw coming. But like you said, man, once you adapt and overcome, man, everything is downhill. Somebody asked me, I forget how the question was worded, but it was somewhere along the lines of, "Are you happy with your life right now?" And I told him, I said, "Well, you got to be careful how you ask and when you ask that question, because if you think about it, life, to me, the way I view life is like this mountain. So you're trekking this mountain, and your path, depending on where you are in the mountain, your path your slope might go down to a flat trail, and you might have to trek this mountain around the mountain instead of traversing it upward. And if you asked me at the very bottom, I could tell you and look up at this mountain and say, man, life sucks. I gotta get all the way up this mountain, But if you ask me if I'm on a flat trail, then I'm gonna say, man, everything is A-okay, but I still got to get up the rest of this mountain.
That's right.
So it just depends on your viewpoint. And, so I would change nothing. I would change nothing. I would stay the same path. Nice. I may, if I could go back and change anything, would probably be the wisdom that I didn't have then that I have now. I would hope that I would have that wisdom then.
Okay, that's a good one.
But then again, that's what made my path the way it was. Not having that wisdom, and that's what gave me that wisdom, is that knowledge, is just going through the things that I went through. I would not change anything.
And while you answered a lot of my next question, I was going to tell you, I wrote my notes down on the plane today. I wrote, okay, Bird, you've been on a roller coaster since we returned from Kandahar, which you kind of just addressed a lot of that. How is that changing you on your personal journey? So your roller coaster basically is the mountain you just talked about, and how did you basically build your resolve? They build your resolve to keep fighting and keep pushing forward.
Yeah. And I took my family to Colorado Springs. That was my last. Actually, that was the duty. I was stationed there prior to coming back to Campbell before I retired. Right. But so I went back there just to kind of test out my, where my fitness level was compared to, and I know now it's nowhere near where I was, but I kind of wanted to see how it would feel to go up the incline.
All right.
Again. And so I took the family, and Bree being 6 years old at the time, or 5, about to turn 6, and my niece, she was 7. My fiance, she she's in the gym and into fitness a lot, so I had no worries. I'm like, okay, well, we can do this. But on my way up, I was struggling with a lot of lower back pain. And one of the things that I realized is that we can't do anything a lot in life on a solo. We need other people, we need others. And one of the things that I realized was that my own daughter Bree, she would come back. She was jetting up this thing, like just step after step. And I'm like, wow. And I was dealing with it, the lower back thing. And I'm just, at the time I was like on a real decline in life. I was in a black hole, and it started to affect me physically, spiritually. And so I was kind of getting discouraged, and she like, come on, Dad, you got it. You could do it. Come on, Dad, you got it. You can do it. And she was just cheering me on. And it was just amazing to see, her have the courage, to motivate me. She is just, and that, that showed me that, you'll never be too old, never be too wise to accept help.
Exactly. Once you learn you can't fix everything yourself, I think that's the building block for your future.
That is. Absolutely.
Nice. You're building a real strong young woman there. And and she's going to keep you on your toes for the near future. I tell you that right now. You're in trouble.
Yeah, that's one thing for sure.
All right, so
I'm just glad I got my back in order. Because man, she was. I guess I can kind of stand on my own 10 a little bit until those times where I need her to keep me on my toes again.
That's right. And now she's doing karate. You're in trouble.
Oh man, it's a wrap.
You might as well just get some jiu-jitsu belts in there.
Right.
Right. So you're plateauing your degree, almost finished with that. So what's your goals with your degree? Are you going to stay in Carolina, or are you going to move on to wherever you find that the best gig for you and your family?
Well, I already have a gig lined up.
Okay.
So, yep. So last summer, I landed an internship with Allstate as a security consultant, IT business security and governance consultant. So I did that for the summer, and they wanted to hire me on full time at that point. But in order to get that acceptance letter for full time, you had to be a senior at last summer. So I'm a senior now. And what they did was they said, okay, we can find a loophole. We'll just, have you come back next summer, and then we'll hire you on when you're finished. So I have another internship this summer with them, and I see myself doing this for some time. They are thriving even in a pandemic.
Yeah.
So that shows me that there's longevity with this company. And so if they have the longevity, I'm willing to rock. I'm really ready to rock and roll.
Nice.
So those are my goals. And I actually, I didn't think, but, just using the resources, at school, the career center and networking. I think that's one of the things that I've learned when I was younger and I went to college and got my associate's degree before I joined the Army. The one mistake that I made was not networking. So this time around, I utilized that, and I networked with professors, networked with a lot of the career center personnel and staff, and that's what landed me the internship, which also got me a full-time gig. So
that's the way to do it, right there.
That's it.
And make sure your LinkedIn profile's up to date, because if you're not LinkedIn, you're linked out.
Man, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to steal that
one. And then your 10-meter goal here coming up is you're getting married to your queen. Are you nervous about this one? I know you two have been together a little while now, and she's a physical fitness, I guess, legend almost.
Man, legend. Yeah, that's the correct. I think that's spot on.
And so, are you nervous about this one? I know you're pumped up about it. So, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm. At this point, I think I'm ready, and I need to choose my words very, very carefully on this, because I'm really excited, because I feel much more prepared, much more mature in this area. When it comes to I call it horizontal love. I mean, you got your vertical love with the higher being,
right,
and then you have your horizontal love with people that's right next to you. So I'm much more mature in that area. So we've done counseling and we've done coaching, and we got a chance. I think it's been about a little over 3 years we've been together. So things are looking up. I purchased my first home last May, and that was just me showing her that hey, I can provide. I can provide a little bit of security, and let's look forward to a future.
That's right. You hit the key points there. You said you recognized you were more mature going into this, and you had the 3-year stint with her. Now 3 years ongoing now before you met her. So you two are almost best friends. You're best friends already. So now you're just going to change one dynamic adding the ring. And she gets to yell at you more often during the week.
I might call you a little bit more often and see how you cope.
It's called beer.
That's funny. Man.
All right, on episode 2, I'm going to have another fitness guru. One of your sisters here, Chantel Watts, now on Knee Coming.
Oh man,
how would you introduce her to the show?
Man, such a graceful fireball. I love her. She is a staple misfit, and I know you guys will enjoy her. She has a lot of wisdom, a lot of things she's gone through, and a lot of things she's experienced. And she has a lot to share, for, her perspective in life. She's a Black woman who has a perspective from that end to share, and man, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear her.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear her laughing on the call, because her laugh is infectious.
It is. It's one of those laughs you have to also see her laugh while you hear her laugh. Yes. Because she squints her eyes and just make that huge smile. That's just, man, you can't help but to just fall right in place and just laugh. Just laugh your whole behind off.
That's right. and in a second, she'll turn it from to loving laughing to mama bear mode, and then you're done.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear from her about family life, and because when we all met, we either didn't have kids or no family dynamic of our own. So I can't wait to hear from her. Her experience on that.
Definitely. And she's just like you. She's been on a journey, and it's a long, bumpy one, and lots of ups and downs and swings and misses, and swings and home runs. But she's a resilient person. I can't wait to talk to her in the next episode as well.
Yeah, man, I'll take the bunts too. If you can get to base, we can take it.
You bunt can sprint, you good.
Yep.
Trip.
Yeah, right.
Well, all right, Misfit, this was a great talk. I'll let you get back to your studies today, and I'm sure I'm going to have you back on in the future. You'll think of more topics we can talk about, and we'll go back.
Absolutely,
maybe next time you interview me, and we'll go back that way.
I love it, man. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, and have a good one, and safe travels to you, Misfit.
Thanks, Misfit. All the best to the Misfit Nation.
Yes, sir.
Our second interview for this episode is with Chris Wamoff. He is from the south of St. Louis in Missouri and a die-hard Cardinals and Blues fan. Like mentioned earlier, he's a hard worker, a great mechanic, a leader. He's an amazing father to one daughter and 3 sons. A very strong family man and husband. I'm definitely proud to call him brother and misfit. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Wamoff.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
All right. Yeah, you're still at home in Fort Campbell, right?
I am. Currently quarantined. It's awesome.
Again? All right.
Awesome. Again. For a 3rd time now.
Wow, that's a lot of days off. That's good, though.
Yep, sure is.
I'm out here in beautiful Utah outside Salt Lake City.
Nice.
Get to come out here and train the unit on emerging threats and get them ready to go on a trip over to the sandbox. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like
should
fun.
be. It's pretty cold out here, but it should be fun.
Oh, I bet.
On the mountains right now. It's supposed to snow in the morning here. So it shouldn't be too bad. They gave me a nice Toyota Corolla, so I should slide around pretty well. Yeah, it'll be a long ride for a 2-day trip.
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
All right, so we met just over 10 years ago now. It's amazing how fast time flies. And from wonderful Kandahar.
God, yes.
I met you and one Sarn Beckerman looking like Pigpen coming off a tower.
Of course.
Building said tower in ECP there. So tell us a little bit how you came to the Misfit Platoon and what really it means to you or meant to you at that time, and how you think it shaped you moving forward.
So met said Sergeant Michael Beckerman, rest in peace, sir. Met him on the deployment, actually. I knew him before that from working in the S3 shop, but I met him on that deployment. I was supposed to be on the Colonel's PSD. I ended up getting rerouted due to some personnel issues that we were having at the time, and got rerouted to the FOB Security Base Defense Cell. And ever since that day, my life completely changed, good and bad on things that have happened, mostly good. Sometimes a little bit fun times, I'll say, of rebuilding towers and almost getting killed, but that's besides the point.
We can get that.
We'll get to that later. So about a month goes by, maybe 2 months goes by, and First Sergeant David Ward decided to call me and Mike up to one of the towers that was in the middle of the FOB with some of our civilian contractors that were there, and I meet Rich LaMonica. Cannot say enough how much of a good mentor you've been for me, both with that and personal life. So MisFits came about that deployment, at least my section of the MisFits came about that deployment, and we've carried it on since. 17 years in the military, never worked with such a great group of people. MOSs didn't matter. Personal lives didn't matter. We came together. We formed a bond. We met some great people. We met some interesting people. We met some people that we hated. But we're all misfits together. And that's the thing. That's the great part about being a misfit. You're a team member. You're a family member. As soon as you say misfit, we all know who we're talking about. So that's how it all came about for me. And it's shaped every day of my life. Whether it be decisions I make, I think back to your leadership and what you would do to it. I put my own spin on things. I'm a jackass at work. Everybody will admit it. But I'm fair. I'm a very fair jackass at work. So, and I learned that. I learned that from you. Not necessarily the jackass part. I kind of had that to myself. But it's a work ethic. It's a mentality. It's a family. It's a brotherhood, a sisterhood. And we all love each other. That's right.
And I was talking to Raymond Bird earlier, and we both said that even in these last 10 years, we basically stayed in touch with almost everyone ever since then. And it's almost like How I Met Your Mother, when you have a no questions asked favor. Everyone still has one of those. It's pretty good.
Right. Yes. And it's like you said, 0 questions asked. I call you in the middle of the night and say, hey, I need help dumping a body. You're not going to.
I'll just ask who's driving. That's all I'm going to ask.
So, and more than likely, we're both going to be drunk, so it'll be Katie.
That's probably a fair answer. She's been there before.
Yes, she has. Comes back to St. Louis. Good times.
I mean, in these 10 years, you've had some serious life-changing events these last 10 years. You went from a single man to a married man with a son and 2 stepsons. Been around the world, Korea, back into the sandbox, and back to Fort Campbell. So how has all these life-changing events, along with the deployment, changed you as a man?
I will correct you on one thing. They're not my stepsons.
Nice.
They're my bonus sons. Yes. There's nothing step about it.
Awesome.
They're mine. So, how it's changed me. 1 trip to Korea, 2 trips to Afghanistan, 1 with the MisFits, 1 before the MisFits, and then 1 trip to my only trip to Iraq about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. It's just a total different mentality. Whenever you talk to people, you're always on alert, and that's the sad part about it. I'm always on alert. I could be at home, I hear something crash, I'm like, What the hell was that? And it's just a cat jumping off of something. But from married to single to married again, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Love my family. I do everything for them. They're the reason I'm here. They're the reason I do what I do. 10 years ago, young E5, Sergeant Walmhoff, I would look back at him now and say, you got some growing up to do, man, because that's what this did. Last 10 years of my life have been a growing up experience. Learning how to shape, mentor, and coach people to what they are doing today. Getting feedback from those people is probably the best thing I've ever heard. I know now what you were saying before. Whenever you have a young sergeant or a young PFC that is now the same rank as you are, you know you did something right. And that happened during that deployment. Had multiple NCOs that were same rank as me going up, and we're same ranks now, all got looked at this past list, all got sequence numbers. So we're doing something right. It's not just it's a mentality. It's a, I don't know how to describe it. You have to want it, and you have to go get it. And that's what
it's almost a lifestyle.
Yes, it is. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. It's a lifestyle. It's not just a calling. It's a calling. It's not just a job for us. I got 3 years left, and I have to make a serious decision in those 3 years. Or what
hopefully we can get you over to our, I'd like not to call it sham, but our office for you.
Oh, I pray. And I cannot wait to go see Sergeant Major St. Louis Wayne P. over there and talk to him about it and pray to God, the Force-Com gods.
It's going to come down to your branch now that you're fully qualified with the sequence. So it's them yay or nay, because you are a shortage branch, basically. So it's if the Force-Com gods are on our side, you're on our side.
Yep. I hope
that'll just make this nation even get stronger for us. But then we'll be doing things like this every day.
I'd love to be able to go out and teach these young guys a good lesson on what's going on and why they need to be serious on what they're doing, not just mailing it in for, oh, this is just a class I have to go through. No, this could ultimately save somebody's life. So
I've been pushing this MisFit Nation since basically we came home. And now I'm finally gone live with it, and I brought you and Bird in as my first guests, since you two are basically the two hearts and soul of the, I guess, the two different spheres of the Misfits. You guys have connections with everyone, and you keep me connected with all of them. Let me know what's going on. Where do you see us as the MisFit Nation in 5 years, say?
Well, I pray to God we have a few more members. No one can ever be in the original group of Misfits. However, there's a couple people right now that I can think of off my head that I would love to get into this band of Misfits that we have, just to kind of grow it more and see it go into the future. I hope that we all stay connected like we have been. We've done a great job over 10 years. I've only lost contact with one or two people, but you've maintained contact with those people. So, and social media is a wonderful tool, especially whenever you're trying to reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in forever. So something I would love to try to see us do is get a band, a Misfit page together and grow it from there as well. So 5 years, I would love to be able to get everybody together, sit down with them, have a beer, glass of water, whatever they're doing that for if they don't drink, and have a great get together and pray to God that we've influenced other people's lives the way that we have had our lives influenced by each other.
Amen. That's a good one right there. And to do it live would be great. And hopefully all these restrictions are done in 5 years. And hopefully you're not in quarantine every other week again.
Right.
And I know, it's great to be able to sit home, but I know if for you, the workaholic you are, it's hard for you to sit there. So I know it's hard for you to do it, but you're probably doing some busy work at home, though, probably getting some stuff taken care of.
Not as much as Katie would like, and I still brought my work computer home, so I'm still working.
The DIY is out the door, right?
Yeah.
So anything else you want to bring out about how the MisFit Nation should go, or what you think MisFit Nation is, and how we can make our nation a better place for others?
I would like to see us come together more often on these type of forums. Haven't talked to a couple of them and haven't talked to a whole group of them in a while. And a great and wonderful man by the name of Glenn Beelan just recently got us back together on one of the Teams chats that we were doing. And I understand that not everybody likes technology today, but it doesn't really matter. That's the way it's going. So I would love to see us do a live version of a podcast with multiple people in there, giving our banter back and forth, and of course keeping it PG-ish, and just try to let's raise this thing to the next level.
That's a great idea. I'll probably start the MisFit Nation Facebook group tonight. I'll redo the one I had, because the other one I had was basically fitness. So I'll make it into a group for everyone, guys and gals that you have linked in with the last 10 years, even after our original Misfits that you believe are MisFit Nation quality. Get them in there, and we'll grow it, and we'll get some momentum to bring our brand and our lifestyle to the rest of this world.
Oh, definitely sounds awesome. Yeah, I know you had the one Facebook page, and it's kind of lost traction.
It usually does after a month or so, unless you keep people fighting in there.
Right, and then if we keep updating with the podcast and get our name out there and get our mentality out there and our lifestyle, then people might start looking at it a different way, and we might just affect some change in this world we have today. That's why I told
Bird, I said the last 13 months has been crazy in the United States. We had this pandemic, but we also had some other, fire starter issues that came out. I don't want to get into the politics and such, but a lot of bad things came to light, and it was on the world stage that we were seen in this bad light, and that's not who we are as the Misfits. We are a very diverse group of people. Our brothers and sisters come from all areas, all walks of lives. And like we said earlier, the no questions asked thing goes for all of them. And we do that for them. And we should be able to push that forward to our neighborhoods, our communities, and maybe get some of us as leaders in our cities and get this thing going.
Yes, I agree.
That's awesome, man. Also, I'm very proud of you getting that fully qualified sequence number. That's another one of my youngsters moving on, doing good. It shows that
I'll just say, if I do promote while I'm here at Campbell, I expect you to be there. So, one, you've been a very influential person in my life over these past 10 years. And two, I get to rub it a little bit.
Hell yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that any day of the week. Any day of the week, I'll take it. And we'll definitely go out to eat after and get some beers. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, brother, you get back to your family, and I'll get this thing published, and I'll catch you on the flip side. All right,
brother, you have a good one.
No problem.
Thank you again for this.
All right, that about wraps up episode number 1. We had a couple great chats with Chris Wamhoff and Raymond Bird. We let you know a little about the MisFit Nation and hopefully kept you entertained. On episode 2, we'll have another strong Misfit, Miss Chantel Watts, Knee Coming. She hails from Detroit and has a great story. We look forward to having you on the next episode. Until then, be humble, keep hustling, stay hungry. This is the MisFit Nation.